Hey, Leslie here. So I just need to share something with you. Usually throughout the month, I will pray to God asking what topic He'll use me to speak on the next month. Last month, as usual, I followed the same process. Last week, I was still following this process, which happens occasionally. Very rarely am I still praying the week prior to Saturday service, trying to gather what God will assign me to discuss that Saturday. But very little, if any, have I prayed and prayed and prayed and only come up with a blank slate. These last couple of days, I have felt like my mind is a blank canvas. There's only one thing I even feel slightly compelled to talk about, so I will. My husband said I'm going to sound like a conspiracy theorist. My response is it's not a conspiracy if I'm only stating facts. Go figure. Nonetheless, here I am. So I want to open this by reading Matthew 24:36. But about that day or hour, no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. Let's also look at Luke 21:25 through 27. There will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. On the earth, nations will be in anguish and perplexity at the roaring and tossing of the sea. People will faint from terror, apprehensive of what is coming on the world. For the heavenly bodies will be shaken. At that time they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. With that said, I do not know when the rapture would occur, when the tribulation will begin, start, or end, nor do I claim to know when the second coming will be. I don't. I have heard some excellent theories, but the exact time is above my pay grade. What I do know is that we have seen signs leading to the second coming being sooner than later. But would that even be during my lifetime? I cannot say. So this is not an end of the world message. Okay, now that that is out of the way, there's a lot of talk on the eclipse. And I just wanted to take a moment to say, be cautious both ways. Meaning, can something happen? Yes. Does it have to happen? No. Can God do something? Yes. Does he have to do something? No. Can the two solar eclipses across America, 7 years apart, crossing each other's line, be linked? Can they be signs of judgments or other things? They could be. Or they can just simply be any other day. Be ready either way. Could it be judgment? The Bible does speak of the sky being darkened as a sign, but this darkening in the sky is accompanied by stars falling from the sky and understood as a catastrophic event. Luke chapter 21, verse 11 says, there will be great earthquakes, famines, and pestilence in various places, and fearful events from great signs in heaven. Luke mentions the great fearful signs from heaven, but also mentions earthquake and famines and pestilences. So, whatever great, and the Greek word used here is mega, so it's going to be big, and it will be accompanied by earthquakes, famines, and pestilences. Now, jump back to Matthew 24. Jesus says, nations will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of the birth pains. Matthew didn't mention here the fearful signs in heaven, but however, Jesus did say later, there will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. On earth, nations will be in anguish and perplexity at the roaring and tossing of the sea. So how are there going to be signs in the sun and the moon? Joel 2:31 says, the sun will be turned to darkness and the moon to blood before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. In Acts 2:20, The sun will be turned to darkness and the moon to blood before the coming of the great and glorious day of the Lord. These verses speak of events during the tribulation. We are not in the tribulation. We are headed there, but not there as of yet. So you can look this up. I don't have enough time to go through all of this here, but blood moons are lunar eclipses. And eclipses are pretty common. They are naturally occurring events, and natural occurring events throughout history don't mean anything unless they fall on Jewish festival days. Historically, if a natural occurring event, eclipse, comets, asteroids, falling stars, etc., fell on a Jewish festival day, it was a sign that something was coming. The ancients understood that these were signs of something coming. Lunar eclipses are connected to Israel because Israel is on the lunar calendar. Solar eclipses are bad for the nation it happens over or the world in general, if the solar eclipse is prophetic. We have evidence in the writings of the rabbis that mention that they seen lunar eclipses, an eclipse of the moon, as signifying judgment on Israel, and a solar eclipse, an eclipse of the sun, as signifying judgment on the nations. America is one of the nations. So is America headed for judgment? Well, yeah, clearly, eventually, but that is in God's hands. So just be ready. Be ready to meet the Lord and also be ready to continue serving the Lord. I'm not going to go into depth because there's a lot of information out there and I'm trying to keep these mini messages around 10 minutes. So in short, what the fuss is about at the upcoming April 8th eclipse is that this eclipse is that it has a crossing pattern over where the last one passed 7 years ago. And that a handful of cities it goes over has names that are associated with Egypt, names connected to ancient names and biblical history, and that it crosses over the New Madrid fault line. The last time something like this happened was in the 1800s, where 3 months later there was a massive earthquake at the New Madrid fault line. Look it up if you're interested. I am saying something is going to happen? No, I cannot find anything that supports April 8th, 2024 being a Jewish festival day. If it was happening on April 9th, definitely a different story. That is Rosh Hadash Nisan. April 9th is 1 Nisan, the first day of the first month of the Hebrew year. Also, when many theologians believe is Jesus' actual birth date. So, happy birthday, Jesus. So could the upcoming solar eclipse be of some utmost importance? Eclipses are pretty common. They happen a couple times a year in one form or fashion somewhere across the globe. That is how God designed it. The bottom line here is always be ready and always have a backup plan for yourself and your family. Don't only be prepared with food and water, but spiritually. You never know when God will call any of us home individually, or when a natural disaster will occur, or when the second coming of Christ may be. The point is, be prepared. Please pray with me. Dear Lord, thank you for today. Thank you for your many blessings. Just thank you so much for your presence, dear Lord. I pray that your presence is felt by everyone who's watching. Just let your love be felt. Let your comfort be felt. Let your peace be felt. I love you, Lord, and I praise you. Amen. Amen. I know this isn't a typical message. God left my heart a blank slate this week, and this has been a big topic online lately and, in my mind. Hopefully this information offers you some peace amongst the craziness of the internet. Thank you for joining us today, and may God's face shine favorably upon you and your family.